Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is February 10th, 2025, and we do have an update in regards to the Spotify Camp Nou. Also, Deco has officially filed the lawsuit against Victor Fon in the matter of Vitor Roque. And finally, the VAR audios have been released from the discussion between the referees in regards to Fermin Lopez's red card in the match against Sevilla. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through the discussion and just get straight into the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. All of this helps the channel continue to grow. If y'all looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Give Back, or Fanatics. If y'all looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you do get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. Anyways, having said all that, let's start with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, we do have an update in regards to Ronald Araujo because, as you know, during yesterday's victory 1-4 against Sevilla, Ronald Araujo suffered a foul in around the 22nd minute, which saw him being subbed out with Pau Cubarsí taking his place. And of course, there was a lot of alarms in Barcelona about Araujo possibly getting injured. And there were even reports yesterday saying that he was going to be out for 3 weeks because he had an ankle injury. And of course, I said it clearly yesterday during my videos, and actually it was during a post-match live, and I said, hold on, wait a second, let's not freak out yet, because usually players don't undergo medical exam until the following day, because on the day of the match there's swelling, and because of the swelling you can't really see what's going on. The MRIs or X-rays or CT scans, whatever they take, are not as clear, so they usually wait for the swelling to go down, and then they conduct the medical exams, and then the following day, that's when we know with more details the extent of the injury and how long the player will be out. And while lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. The player underwent medical exams. There is no press release from Barcelona. Barcelona haven't announced anything, which of course means that Araujo is not injured. And now there are plenty of reports stating that Araujo has not suffered an injury. He does have a contusion to his ankle as a result of that foul. But of course, it's nothing serious. So most likely he's not going to be ruled out for the next match for Barcelona. Most likely he's just going to need some rest, some ice, bring down the swelling, and then he will be fine. And this is why it's very important not to get ahead of ourselves when it comes to injuries, because again, players don't undergo medical exam until the following day. So it's important not to be, rushed to conclusions and start talking about, oh, this player is going to be out a month and a year and 20 years, and this player is going to be out for the rest of eternity. Like, calm down, let the swelling go down, let the doctors do their job. Let's figure out what happened, and then we can talk about how long a player will be out. So great news, Araujo not injured, and most likely will be back for Barcelona's following match. Now, more news because we do have an update in regards to the Spotify Camp Nou, which is coming along really nicely. As you know, the Camp Nou is undergoing major renovations. It was supposed to reopen at a 60% capacity back in November, got pushed to December, then got pushed to February. Now it's being pushed until the end of April. And well, we will know more tomorrow, because tomorrow, Elena Font, which is one of the vice presidents of Barcelona, will hold a press conference where she will give an update about the Camp Nou. She will give an update about what has been done so far, what needs to be done next. She's going to explain the delays, why the stadium has been delayed so far. They're saying it's because lack of materials. Apparently, some materials were like back ordered, materials that you need for the construction of the stadium, and also lack of labor, because of course you can't just bring any worker to work on these stadiums. These are very complicated construction projects, and you need the labor force that has experience in building those stadiums. So they're saying those are the reasons for the delay, the lack of labor and the lack of construction material. Of course, we will know with more details tomorrow. during that press conference, which of course I will cover and I will make a video about it. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel. Now, right now, there are 3,000 workers working at the Spotify Camp Nou. Barcelona are awaiting permission from the city of Barcelona to be able to work 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. Now you might say, Mo, you reported before that Barcelona was already doing that. Yes, they did do that. They obtained permissions to be able to work 24 hours a day, but those permits expired. Now Barcelona have applied to renew them so they can continue working on the stadium 24 hours a day. That permission is pending, but once Barcelona get it approved, and they're hoping that they will, of course, then construction will accelerate again, and hopefully the stadium will reopen by the end of April, because the Turkish company Limac, which is the construction company taking care of the renovation, have told Barcelona that they guarantee them that the stadium will reopen by the end of April. Of course, if it doesn't, it's not a big deal, because Barcelona have been able to renew their contract with the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic, because of course that was a big fear, because Camp Nou, we weren't sure if it's gonna reopen by the end of April. The contract with the Montjuic, or with the Olympic Stadium, was set to expire at the end of April. So that meant, what was Barcelona going to do during May? But the concerts that were scheduled in Montjuic in May fell through. So now the stadium is available. So even if the Camp Nou does not reopen by the end of April, Barcelona will continue playing at the Olympic Stadium, which is, of course, good news, because otherwise Barcelona would have had to look for another stadium somewhere else. Of course, they were discussing stadiums in European cities, including Wembley, or maybe even stadiums within Spain, like Girona Stadium or somewhere else, but that's not going to happen. We either play at the Camp Nou in May, or we continue playing at the Olympic Stadium, so that's definitely good news. Now, more good news, because they've actually started planting the grass at the Camp Nou. They're starting installing all the drainage. They're starting to put the dirt to be able to put the grass on top of it. That's going to take 10 weeks, so that's 2.5 months. So by mid-April, end of April, the grass should be planted. So that's definitely a good sign that the stadium could be reopening by the end of the season. And if not, we'll for sure reopen by the beginning of next season, of course, at a 60% capacity. Now, the biggest challenge right now for the stadium will be to build the roof, because, of course, the Camp Nou will have a roof. But Barcelona are saying that they expect that the roof could be done by the beginning of next season. I don't know. I think that's a little bit ambitious. But, hey, I'm just bringing you the news. You guys decide what to do with it. So definitely tomorrow I will be covering that press conference by Elena Font, who will give us an update on the Camp Nou. And of course, I'll make a video about it. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell button, so you can get all the updates in regards to Barcelona. And with that, let's start with the comment section. And after that, we will talk about Deco, because Deco has filed a lawsuit against Victor Font. It's getting heated, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see what everyone's saying. It looks like the chat section is not active yet, but Harris says, yo, Mo, finally, I can watch the live podcast again. The love from Germany. Thank you, my friend, for watching. Thank you for your comment. That's pretty cool that you're watching all the way from Germany, because I know it's a 6-hour difference. So over there, it's probably like, 1 in the morning. So thank you for watching the podcast so late, and thank you for your comment. And then McCoy says, Mo, Font and others are like crabs in a barrel. Laporta has done some shady stuff, but I don't trust Font, and others think they'll do way worse. I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, why would you think that others will do worse? I mean, is there proof of that? There isn't. Just assuming that because you like Laporta is not the right way to go about things. I think, you can only judge a candidate based on what they've done, right? When Laporta took over, we knew he had done great his first presidency, but we didn't know what he was going to do now. He started out great, so we applauded him, and then he did a lot of bad stuff, so we criticized him, right? That's what you're supposed to do. But this whole he's going to do bad when he hasn't even done anything, is not the right way to go about things. You can't just assume that Font is going to do bad things just because you like Laporta, right? That's not how it works. We can only judge people based on what they do, not based on what you think they might do. David says, you're the best move. All your information is on point. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I really appreciate your comment, and thank you for watching and for your comment. Street Fighter says, hey, Mo, what is the total capacity of the new Camp Nou? The new Camp Nou will have 105,000 capacity, up from 98 or 99. It's going to be the biggest stadium in Spain at 105,000 capacity. But, of course, when it reopens, it's only going to reopen at a 60% capacity, so around 60,000. A little bit more than 60,000 people. And once the stadium is fully done in the summer of 2026, the original timeline. It might be later. It will be at 105,000 capacity, which is pretty good. Elrich says, hello, Mo. I have been following your channel from a long time. Keep it up. Greetings from Paradise, Aruba. Thank you, my friend, for following the channel for so long. Thank you for watching this podcast, and thank you for your comment. By the way, I love Aruba. I went to Aruba, I think it was a couple of years back. I loved it. I drove all over the island. I rented a car. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Some of the best beaches I've seen in my life. And the people were super nice. The chillest, nicest people ever. And it was pretty cool that they speak so many languages. Like everybody speaks English, Spanish, and then Dutch, which was crazy. But I love Aruba. Great rum, by the way. Sean says, hey, Mo, fun fact. Did you know for the whole 23-24 season, Barca scored 107 goals? And so far this season, they have scored 113 goals in all competitions so far. Yes, I will be making a video after this podcast going into details about this squad's numbers and Coutinho's numbers, because Coutinho is putting up some crazy numbers, some Barca level numbers, not like when people last season would come like, oh, Rafinha scored 10 goals. Oh, he's a man. Anyways, I will be making a video, so stay tuned. And Raul says, I'm 100% sure Perez is puppeteering Font to degrade us from within like he did Bartomeu. That man is a mafia. Kids should watch. No, calm down. Stop with the conspiracy theories. Victor Font has always been a club member. Victor Font has been... Okay, let's not forget, when Victor Font was running for president, everybody was for him. Everybody, Victor Font. And then Laporta came in. Obviously, people voted for Laporta because he had a track record. All of a sudden now, people are all turning against Font just because he criticizes Laporta. Let's stop with the nonsense. He's not puppeteering anything. He's just a club member who's concerned about his club, and he thinks he can do a better job. I mean, after all, that's why you run for president, right? Because you think you can do the right thing for the club. Doesn't mean you're a puppeteer or whatever. Let's stop with the nonsense. Has Laporta done great things? Yes. Has he done bad things? Yes. That doesn't mean that if someone criticizes him for doing bad things, all of a sudden they're horrible, they're awful, they're the Antichrist, and they're puppets of Florentino Perez. No, it's just when someone does bad things, you're supposed to criticize them. That doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't mean you hate the club. It just means that you don't like what that person is doing. And everybody is, entitled to that as a club member, because at the end of the day, you want your club to be in the best hands. And if you think it's not in the best hands, it's your duty to speak up. All right. Speaking of Font, speaking of Laporta, let's move on to the next bit of news, because, ladies and gentlemen, Deco has officially filed the lawsuit against Victor Font in regards to the whole Vitor Roque situation, which is funny. Vitor Roque, Victor. Anyways, but if you don't know why Deco has filed a lawsuit, it's in regards to some statements. Why does it keep doing this? I don't know why. StreamYard sucks. Don't get StreamYard. That's the best thing I can say. Anyways, Victor Font made some statements. This was, I think, a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. I covered him in the video. I talked about him in the podcast, but pretty much Victor Font gave that press conference, kind of like criticizing what was going on with Barcelona, especially when the whole Dani Olmo and Pau Victor registration was going on. So I guess it was a month ago. It feels like forever ago, but it was a month ago. And Victor Font, one of the things he criticized during that press conference was the whole Vitor Roque's signing, because Victor Font, in his statements, he said that Deco had offered Vitor Roque to the club before he was a sporting director, when he was still an agent, that he offered Vitor Roque to Matteo Alemany and Jordi Cruyff, back when Matteo Alemany and Jordi Cruyff were kind of in charge of the sporting area, and that both Alemany and Jordi Cruyff told Deco, no, thank you, we don't have financial fair play, and, Vitor Roque is not really a priority. And then Deco becomes the sporting director, and his first signing is Vitor Roque. So Victor Font said, that seems kind of suspicious to me. Like something must have been going on, kind of like hinting that maybe Deco was looking to get a cut, right? Because, yes, Deco was not the agent of Vitor Roque. He never was. It's always been Andre Curie. But you can still recommend players to clubs. And when you do, you can get a commission from that, right? We see it all the time. Like, for example, Jorge Mendes kind of like trying to bring Rafael Leao to Barcelona, even though Jorge Mendes is not Rafael Leao's agent, right? So if you recommend the player and then the club signs him, you can get a cut. So Victor Font was kind of insinuating that Deco offered Vitor Roque kind of like to get his cut. And since he didn't get his cut because Alemany and Cruyff didn't sign him, then when Deco became the sporting director, he brought Vitor Roque because he was probably going to get a cut. That, of course, upset Deco. Understandably so. You can't go around making accusations like that, unfounded accusations like that without any proof. And then initially Deco had threatened a lawsuit. But now it's no longer a threat. Deco has officially filed a lawsuit against Victor Font for defamation, for insinuating that there was some kind of money involved. Now, Victor Font was asked about this lawsuit, and this is what he had to say. And let's see, I will make this bigger. We do not yet have any evidence about the alleged complaint. If it is confirmed, we will be delighted to have the truth resolved in court. In any case, it is surprising that the club's executives are spending energy suing members instead of giving explanations to the club's owners about the operations that are being carried out. Many doubts are generated by various actions, and it is unjustifiable that the current management always hides behind supposed confidentiality agreements to avoid explaining reality. All right, so let's break this down because Victor Font says two things. Well, several things. First, he says, I haven't received a complaint, but if we get the complaint, if I get served, I'll be delighted to go to court. That way the truth can come out. And then the second thing he says, he talks about how, the club is more spending energy on suing its own members rather than just explaining the truth and being more transparent. Now, I'm not criticizing Deco for suing Victor Font. After all, it's his legal right. If someone defames you, you are totally entitled to sue him. So I'm not going to say what Deco's doing is bad or anything. It's his legal right, right? From a law perspective, as a lawyer, it's his legal right. He has the right to do that. But I will say this. I do agree with Victor Font that the club is spending energy on suing its own members rather than just explaining the truth. Because after all, and this is something I've been saying video after video for the past year, where is the explanation on what happened with Vitor Roque? Till this day, we still don't understand what the hell happened with Vitor Roque, because it was a 65 million euro operation to sign Vitor Roque, who was supposedly the next best thing out of Brazil, who was going to be the replacement of Robert Lewandowski. The club even paid extra money to bring him early because he was supposed to arrive in the summer, but we brought him in the winter. All that for Xavi Hernandez to take two looks at him and figure out this guy is just not good enough. Then Flick comes in, takes half a look at him, and he's like, this guy is not good enough. Then Vitor Roque goes to Real Betis, and they take a look at him, and they're like, he's not even good enough for us. And we're talking about Real Betis. It's not like Vitor Roque went to Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, and he wasn't good enough for them. No. We're talking about a mid-table team. He's not even good enough for a mid-table team. So what the hell went wrong? Who are the scouts who were providing these glowing reports about how Vitor Roque is going to be the next best thing? Who authorized this signing? Because look, players flop all the time. Don't get me wrong. But to flop this badly, to spend 65 million on the next best thing, only for Xavi to just see him in training and figure out he wasn't good enough, that's pretty bad. We're not talking about a small sign of a young promising player like Mika 5 paying 1.2 million and then he doesn't work out, whatever, it's 1.2 million. No, we're talking about a 65 million euro operation. Like, you better be sure that he's good. And we weren't even close to that because Xavi took him 2 seconds to figure out he wasn't good enough. So where the hell is the explanation? Why hasn't Barcelona explained this yet? And Victor Font is right. Like, how is the club more in a hurry to sue its own members than to give us a freaking explanation? Because here's the thing. John Laporta, Deco, all the board of directors, they don't own the club. This club is not theirs. This club is owned by the members. So Laporta and his board are beholden to the club members to explain to them every step that they do because the club members are the owners. It's like if you own the business and your employees are doing all kinds of things, you expect your employees to A, tell you what they're doing, and B, explain to you to what they're doing. How would it look like if you own the business and you show up and your manager says, look, I did this, I signed this contract, I sold this, I bought this, and you're like, why? Oh, I can't tell you. Well, how much money are we going to make? I can't tell you. How much this whole thing cost? I can't tell you. What would you do? You would fire that manager because it's your business. The manager works for you. The manager is supposed to explain things to you. Same thing here. The club is owned by its members. The board has to explain things to its members because they don't own it. The members do. But yet this board doesn't explain anything. They just go around doing whatever the hell they want. And then they just give us smoke screen after smoke screen after smoke screen. So I do agree with Victor Font in that regards. And I do actually agree that he is delighted to go to court because even though this is a very bad look on Barcelona that a board of director member is suing a club member, I'm actually glad for this lawsuit because finally we're going to find out what the hell happened with Vitor Roque, which could have been a lot easier if someone just came up, held a press conference, gave a statement, or hell, you don't even have to do that. If you're too lazy to do that, just type up a statement and release it on your social media accounts. And then we would have figured out what happened with Vitor Roque. But instead, Victor Font has to make a statement. Deco has to sue him. Now we have to go through a whole lawsuit to find out what happened when that could have been easily just published in a statement, taking 30 seconds and done. So it's really shameful what's going on. It's really sad to see the club have internal conflict like that. But I guess if that's the only way to figure out what the hell happened, then I guess so be it. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section, and then we will talk about the VAR audio tapes that have been released. Nathan says, Mo, do you think Pedri is a high Ballon d'Or candidate? I mean, for me right now, Pedri is the best midfielder in all of Europe. But unfortunately, the Ballon d'Or, it's rarely given to midfielders, right? Ballon d'Or is usually given to forwards, to people who score goals and do fancy things. It's hardly ever given to midfielders, but he should definitely be at least on the podium, like top 3, because right now what Pedri's doing this season is absolutely amazing. And David says, come on, guys, 121 watching and only 7 likes. Yes, please, guys, hit the like button because very, very important. It prompts the YouTube algorithm to recommend the video to people who've never seen the channel. So it's the best way that you can support this channel. And Street Fatty says, just 60% of the new Camp Nou is still the biggest stadium in Spain. No. A 60% capacity will be 60,000. I'm pretty sure there are stadiums bigger than that. I think Bernabeu holds 80. So no, at 60% capacity, the Camp Nou is not going to be the biggest stadium. At 100% capacity, the Camp Nou will have 105,000 capacity. Then it will be the biggest in Spain. Yes. Curtis says, Mo, regarding Font, he's always criticizing every single thing, even good things that Laporta did. To me, there are signs of toxic politician. Some of his criticism are also exaggerated. Sure, yeah, but I mean, that's what politicians do, right? Because when you're running as a politician, to you, in your eyes, you are the best fit person to do that job. And so, of course, you're going to think everyone else is doing is not good enough, and what you have to offer is better. That's just the nature of it. I do agree that some of his criticism has come at a bad time when Laporta has actually done good things and he would come out and criticize it. But a lot of his criticism has been 100% on point because this board has done a lot of good things, but has also done a lot of blunders. And there's been zero transparency with this board as well, which is, again, it's a big deal because they don't own the club. The members do. And therefore, this board should be explaining everything to the members because it's their club, not the board's. Right now, if this was a privately owned club and Laporta owns it, then who cares? He doesn't have to explain anything to anyone. It's his club. He could do whatever the hell he wants. But that's not the case, right? So I do agree that sometimes Font has done criticism where you're like, all right, dude, shut up. Like, enough. We get it. You're running. But a lot of times it's also been right on point. Sean says, hey, do you know if La Liga is planning to sanction Real Madrid for their attack on referees? Supposedly, Tebas said in his statements that he will present like some kind of complaint or whatever. Whether that eventually happens or not, I don't know. And Ola Yiwola says, hi, Mo, I'm Ola Yemi from Nigeria, and this is my first time joining you on the live podcast. Well, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your comment. And I hope you join more often. And all right, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about the VAR tapes that have been released in red card that Fermin Lopez received yesterday. Now, if you all watched the Sevilla match, you know what happened. Fermin Lopez came in during the halftime, immediately scored a goal. And then a few minutes after that, he received a red card for that tackle that he did on the Sevilla player. To me, completely justified red card. I think, yes, Fermin Lopez does clear the ball first and then injures the player. But just because you clear the ball, that doesn't mean it's not a foul. Like, it could still be a foul. And that seems to be something that people don't understand because I've seen so many comments on social media like, oh, he got the ball first. True. But that doesn't I could get the ball and then punch the guy in the face and be like, hey, I got the ball. Doesn't work like that. Just because you cleared the ball doesn't justify it or doesn't cancel out the fact that after that you can cause damage or that you can create a foul, which is exactly what happened, right? Fermin Lopez clears the ball, keeps his leg up, and then eventually scissors the leg of the Sevilla defender or the Sevilla player, And he's lucky he didn't break his leg, because the way the leg twisted, it looked pretty nasty. So I think it was a justified red card. But let's look at what the VAR tape said, because the conversation between the VAR room and referee on the field, Hernandez, has been released. And there is a problem. Not the red card, but there is a problem. Now, let's look at what the tapes have revealed in a conversation between Hernandez and Del Cerro Grande. Del Cerro Grande was in the VAR room, another shitty referee, and then Hernandez was on the field, another shitty referee, two shitty referees in yesterday's match. But Del Cerro Grande said, Alejandro, I recommend a review for a potentially serious rough play. So far, so good. That's what you're supposed to do per the rules. I'm going to leave it for you in dynamics so you can see how he does the tackle and how he goes in with his leg high and his leg bends and the speed he goes in. When you're on the screen, I'll leave it for you. You control it. In our opinion, the leg gets strapped and twists, which is dangerous for the Sevilla player. Now, if you don't know what's wrong with the statement, I'll explain. Again, I'm not here to say this shouldn't have been a red card. It 100% was. I'm not here to advocate that the red card should be reversed, because it shouldn't. It was a 100% red card. But per the rules, when the VAR sees something that the ref on the field missed, what the VAR should do is notify the ref and be like, hey, I need you to review this play because there's something going on, which is what Del Cerro Grande first does. He says, Alejandro, I recommend a review for a potentially serious rough play. But then Del Cerro Grande goes on, explain what he sees, and he gives his opinion to Hernandez before Hernandez even arrives at the screen. And if you don't know, per the rules, you're not supposed to do that. You're not there to give your opinion on the play. You're not there to tell the referee what happened. You're only there to say, hey, buddy, you missed something. Go watch it in the screen. And then the ref goes to the screen, watches the play, and then the ref comes up with his own decision on what happened and what his opinion is of that play. But yet, before Hernandez even makes it to the VAR screen, Del Cerro Grande has already given him the breakdown of the whole play, what he thinks of it, what he had for lunch that day, how his girlfriend's doing. And it's like, which begs the question, do these refs even know what the hell the rules are? Have they ever opened the rule book and read it? Because the more matches go on and the more mistakes we see, it gives me the impression that these refs have absolutely no idea what the rule book says. And again, I'm not here defending the red card. It was 100% a red card. It was the right decision. VAR should have intervened, and it was the right decision. But to give your whole opinion, the breakdown of the play, that's strictly against the rules. And again, I'm not here to advocate the reversal of the red card because the ref broke the rules. Not at all. It's a red card. It should stay a red card. But it just goes to show how incompetent these refs are, where they have absolutely no idea how to do their job right. And we see it time and time again. And of course, this is the least egregious example of how bad these refs are, because we've seen it time and time again. I made a whole video about all the fouls against Barcelona and in favor of Madrid. And that's just two teams. If I reviewed every freaking match from La Liga on every club, it would be thousands of referee mistakes, because these refs have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They don't know the rules. They don't know how to apply the rules. They have no criteria whatsoever. And this is why we're seeing these refs make these kind of mistakes time and time again. This is not a conspiracy. I'm not here to tell you that Florentino Perez pays these refs or that the CTA has an agenda against Barcelona. I know that's what sells. And if I put it on my thumbnail and my title, it would sell a lot of clicks. But I'm not here to tell you that, because if I honestly, truly believe that there's some kind of conspiracy and some bribery going on, I would not watch La Liga. I would not, because why the hell would I want to watch a tournament where the outcome is already predetermined? That doesn't make any sense to me. And as I've said before, if you dirty up the La Ligas by saying that there is a conspiracy, that people are paying for referees, then you're also dirtying up what Barcelona has achieved. Because if you're saying Madrid won all its trophies in La Liga for paying referees, that means Barcelona did too, because that implies that La Liga is up for sale, and whoever wins it that year is the highest bidder. So if you say that everything Real Madrid did was due to briberies, that means everything Barcelona did was also due to briberies. You can't have it both ways. Either La Liga is fine and clean, or La Liga is fully corrupted, and anything that anyone ever achieved, it's all corrupted, including Barcelona's trophies. So I don't believe there's some kind of conspiracy, but there is incompetence. There is mediocrity. These refs are idiots. Simple as that. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And the CTA, La Liga, the Royal Spanish Football Federation are failing at their jobs too, because they're not doing anything about it. Because they have to figure out, why are these refs so fucking idiots? Why are they so stupid? Are they not being trained properly? Do they not understand the rules? They have to figure out what's the source of this problem and go back and fix it. Either rewrite the rules to make it clearer, either improve the training, or just bring back all the refs and give them a whole new, fresh course of training, because these idiots are stupid. They're ruining the game, and it needs to be fixed. Anyways, that is my rant. Let's go back to the comment section, and then we will talk about Ansu Fati. Ansu. All right, let's see. Michael says, hey, Mo, how has your day been? I feel like the videos take a toll, and on behalf of the viewers, we appreciate it a lot. Thank you, my friend. It's definitely a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. I work all day, 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours, depending on how busy I am. And then, I train, and then I do the videos. Obviously, it's a lot of work because I got to do a lot of research. I got to plan the video, film, edit, do the thumbnail, post. If it's a live, I'm here on 30, 40 minutes. It is a lot of work, but I got to say this. I love this. Like, no matter how exhausting this is, no matter how much time it takes, I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about Barca. I enjoy reading you guys' comments. I enjoy interacting with you. So when you enjoy what you do, it's not really work. It's more of a enjoyment, right? It's like watching TV or going out and playing sport with your friends, right? So I can't complain. I'm blessed that I could do this. I wish I could do this full time, because I would rather spend 8 to 10 hours a day just doing this versus doing work and then doing this. But we're not there. Maybe we'll be there one day. That'd be amazing. I have so much ideas for content that I would love to do with this channel, but unfortunately, I don't have the time for it. So all I could do is use updates. But one day, hopefully, God willing, if I could do this full time, oh man, I have so much great ideas on doing content. But anyways, one step at a time. One step at a time. Street Fighter says, hi, Mo. Where's the meeting with club in the referees situation? This is what pisses me off about this board. For the longest time, we keep complaining about what the referees are doing. But then, finally, when the rest of La Liga clubs wake up and they turn against Madrid and they start releasing their own statements against Real Madrid, where is Barcelona? It's nowhere to be found. What the fuck? Like, seriously. You complain about referees by yourself. Nobody else is doing it. So people just, write you off because you're the only one complaining. So they're like, crybabies, shut up. But now, finally, when there's momentum, and all the Liga clubs are sick and tired of Real Madrid's bullshit, and now you have momentum so you can join them and actually get something done, because if one of the biggest clubs in La Liga plus everyone else is saying, hey, let's do something about it, most likely something will be done. But no. Where's Laporta? Nowhere to be found. Total silence. Which drives me absolutely insane. And this is why I say, sometimes I just don't understand this board. I really don't understand this board. SA says, come on, wingers are in abundance. We can't possibly think picking Musiala over Verts ain't a mistake. I'm not standing for it. Pick Magic. I mean, it doesn't matter, because that was in a hypothetical situation. If Barcelona could sign Verts and Musiala, they would prefer Musiala. But let's be honest, we can't sign either. So it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like, hey, what would you prefer, a Ferrari or a Lamborghini? Who cares? I can't afford either. So, you know what I mean? Yomi Dara says, hey, Mo, I believe there should be a worldwide organization for ref training. The ref in Spain are relatively incompetent compared to their counterparts from the EPL. I don't know about that. I don't know how I would feel about an international. I mean, maybe they should do requirements if you want to be Maybe they could do certifications, like certain level certifications. You can be locally certified or nationally certified or continentally certified, and maybe because a whole organization controlling all refs around the world, you can see how that could cause problems, right? If we complain about the CTA not doing its job, which affects the Spanish referees, imagine if the worldwide organization wasn't doing its job and now it's affecting the entire globe's referees. It would amplify the problem. Unless, of course, they do an amazing job and then everybody becomes a great ref, which, that's more utopian than anything. Sean says, today I was watching an old video about Xavi sacking where he said we cannot compete against Madrid, but so far this season in 2 games, the score is 9-2 in favor of Barca. I think we're competing very well. Yes, and that's the disappointing thing about Xavi, because I love Xavi. I think he was one of my favorite players growing up. He's one of the greatest midfielders ever, not in Barca's history, ever in football history. And to see a player that became one of the greatest ever, a player that won everything there is to win, literally, at the club and national level, World Cup, Euros, Champions, you name it. This guy won everything there is to win. And to see a player, again, one of the greatest, one of the greats, who's won everything, become a coach and have a mediocre mentality just never made sense to me. Because obviously, to be able to become one of the greats as a player and win everything there is to win, you have to have an incredible mentality, a mentality that 99.99% of the world population does not have. And that's what Xavi had as a player. But somehow, some way, as a coach, he didn't have that mentality. And it was so disappointing because he had a mediocre mentality, a mentality of like, well, we can't really compete. Well, I don't have the players. Well, there's no money. Well, there's the refs. Well, there's the grass. Well, it was too hot. And that's literally one of his excuses, that it was too hot. Well, it's the injuries. And it was just excuse after excuse after excuse. And I'm like, bro, like, that's not a winning mentality. Winners don't make up excuses. Winners just look to improve. And they're obsessed in improving until they can achieve the goals that they have. And I'm sure that's the exact mentality that Xavi had as a player. Otherwise, he would have never achieved what he achieved as a player. So how is it that he had that competing winning mentality as a player, but he couldn't have it as a coach? And instead, as a coach, all he did was come up with excuses. It was very disappointing. It was very, very disappointing. But anyways, let's do the last bit of news since we are talking about mentalities, because, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to talk about Ansu Fati, because the player has once again refused to leave the club. Now, you might say, what the hell are you talking about, Mo? Winter transfer market already closed. Ansu Fati already said he's not leaving. What do you mean once again he's decided not to leave? Well, as I reported in a previous video, the Turkish league market has not closed yet. Or maybe it's about to. But at the time when this news came out, they hadn't closed yet. And as such, they were still interested in signing Ansu Fati, even though the Spanish market had closed. And Besiktas were so interested in signing Ansu Fati, they were even preparing a delegation of executives flying to Barcelona to speak with Ansu, to speak with the club, to try to convince the player to join the Turkish club. Now, despite this heavy interest from Turkish club, despite their interest being so strong that they're willing to send executives to Barca, he has decided that he doesn't want to leave. No means no. I'm not leaving in the winter transfer market. I'm not leaving in the Turkish winter transfer market. And instead, he has decided that he wants to stay. He wants to train. He wants to work hard. And he wants to convince Flick to give him a chance. Now, it's reported that Ansu Fati has been working and training really hard. He's been training on his days off. And he's been even staying late after training. So when the team is done, he stays after the team is left. And on his days off, when the team is not even there, he is there at the Ciudad Esportiva training day in and day out because he wants to convince Flick that, he still got what it takes to compete at Barcelona. And in fact, it's been reported that Lewandowski has actually been helping him. Lewandowski has reportedly been staying after practices as well to stay with Ansu, help him with the exercises, help him with his training, because that's the kind of guy Lewandowski is. He's always looking to help the youngsters. And that's the great thing about having veterans. And that's why it's important to have veterans on every team. That's why when people say, oh, stop signing, just promote everybody from the academy and we're done. I'm like, no, you have to have balance. You have to have youngsters. You have to have veterans. And you have to have people in their prime. Because that's one thing that a veteran gives you. Besides that experience, they can also give you these kind of things where they can be role models. They can be guides to the youngsters on how to improve. So really cool move by Robert Lewandowski. Really cool to see Ansu Fati, trying, working hard, trying to earn his spot. Is it going to take him anywhere? I don't know. I think that that ship has sailed. Buses don't sail. I think that ship has sailed. But hopefully I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. And I hope that Ansu Fati can regain his form and, earn his spot on the first team. Why? Because if we want to compete for all trophies, I'd rather have, another player that's also killing it than one less player that's killing it, right? You need as many players as possible, all doing an amazing job. So if Ansu Fati can have a reversal, I'm all for it. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I don't think so. But again, I hope and pray that I am wrong. All right, let's do the chat section. Seymour says, I think La Liga should look at other countries for ref. It is looking bad. I don't think it's about looking outward. It's about looking inward, right? La Liga needs to look at what the hell's going on. Why are these refs so incompetent? Why are these refs ruling so differently on the same exact foul? Why are these refs interpreting the same rule 20 different ways? Figure out what the problem is and fix it. Do we need to clarify the rules? Is that why? Is the ref not understanding the rules? Then let's clarify them. Are the refs not getting the proper training? Let's improve the training. Do the refs need a retraining? Let's retrain them. Do maybe the hiring practices not good enough and they're not screening candidates properly? Let's improve the hiring process so we can screen candidates properly and hire people who are actually competent and can be good refs. Maybe the promotion system is not working, and maybe refs who are really good are staying in second, third, fourth division, and shitty refs are staying in first division. Let's look at that. Let's improve that process so we can promote refs who deserve to be promoted to the first division and demote refs who are idiots like Hernandez and Del Cerro Grande and Gil Manzano, and the list goes on and on. That's what La Liga should be doing. Forget other countries. Let's look inward and figure out what the problem is in La Liga and let's fix it. Yami Dara says, by the way, while in Iceland, did you go swimming in Silfra, the gap between two tectonic plates continents? No, but I did swim in the Blue Lagoon. It was pretty cool. And I did go to the bridge where the two tectonic plates are sticking out. And there's like a big dip. There's the North American tectonic plate and the Eurasian. And I got to walk on a bridge that goes from one tectonic plate to another. It was a really cool experience. If anybody has the opportunity to go to Iceland, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. It was freaking cold, but I still enjoyed it. Stefan says, hi, Mo. Greetings from Macedonia. Great work. I hope we'll celebrate UCL together on your channel. I hope so too, my friend. And thank you for watching all the way from Macedonia. David Blandon says, when Barca was first accused about Negreira, you were hearing about it every day. Now that Tebas has stated there is no evidence, crickets. Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the whole Real Madrid machinery. Because remember, they control most of the main media. So, of course, Negreira. But now, hey, there's no evidence of anything. Bribery charges were dropped. The case as far as sports corruption has gone nowhere. The prosecution office has said there's no evidence. The IRS, the Spanish Taxing Authority, has said that there's no evidence of anything. La Liga has said there's no evidence of anything. UEFA has said there's no evidence of anything. But nobody wants to talk about it. Surprised? I'm not. Castri says, part of me supports Ansu. Have to respect the man who will give up on his dream. I respect that. And Ahmed Muhammad says, hey, Mo, did you hear about the Archivar, a website that... Oh, Archivo VAR. Yes. A website that reviews every VAR call in La Liga. Last time they were saying that the lines for Sevilla goals were not drawn correctly. Yes, I do follow him on Twitter or X or B or Y, whatever the hell it's called now. And yes, by the way, if you guys don't know Archivo VAR, it's a project. It's in Spain that all they do is review every VAR call from every single match in La Liga. And they examine it, was it the right call? Was it a bad call? it's a really cool project. I like to watch them. They actually made, was it them? I think they released a report of the Champions League trophies if VAR had existed. And it was something like Real Madrid would have 6 if VAR always existed, or something crazy like that. So yeah, I do like their project. Check them out on X or Twitter or whatever the hell it's called. It's in Spanish, but you can hit the translation button, and of course it translates it for you. How many millions does Barca bring in yearly, and what could they possibly reach, you think, maximum? 170 mil. This year they're gonna make 798 million. That's the forecast. We'll see if it happens. But what could they possibly reach? You think maximum 170 mil realistic? Not sure I understand the second part of your question. Can they reach 107 mil? I mean, they're set to make 798. So yes, 170 mil is achievable. They probably already achieved that. Sean says, is it true that Barca may not renew Lewa next season and will be looking for a new forward? And if what you think about Victor Osimhen? Lewandowski has an automatic clause that if he plays 45 minutes, 45 minutes, a minimum of 45 minutes of 60% of all matches, it gets triggered automatically, and he's almost there. I think a few more matches, and he's going to trigger it automatically. So he will be renewed automatically. Victor Osimhen, not a fan, to be honest. Too much drama surrounds him. So yeah, I don't know. Raro says, I think he's talking about the transfer budget. Oh, the transfer budget. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out on February 18th, because on February 18th, as I reported in a previous video, La Liga will update the budgets for all the clubs. So we'll find out on the 18th. But anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. It really, really helps the channel grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, also make sure you do. I will be uploading another video tonight, going into details about Barcelona's numbers, more specifically Coutinho's numbers, because he is impressing. So I will see you in that video. And as always, be scars.